Hello and welcome to today's Meet the Charity. I'm Laura Augustine, Volunteer Support Officer for Action Together Rochdale, and today I'm joined by Chris from Manchester Rugby Coaching, who's here to talk about who Manchester Rugby Coaching are, what they do, any current volunteering opportunities they may have, and how you can be involved. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Laura. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Really
Good. So could you start by telling me a little bit about Manchester Rugby Coaching, the work you do and the people you support?
Yeah, definitely. So I set Manchester Rugby Coaching up in January of this year. So we're still in our infancy, and I did that off the back of some work I did with Leeds Rhinos Foundation. Basically, I saw a market where within Rochdale there was very little to no rugby league delivery, with the exception of some primary school stuff that's started at a similar time with Rochdale and Mayfield. So basically, Mayfield will look after the primary, and I tend to look after more of the secondary stuff. So since starting in January this year, we're running anything from one-to-one rugby performance coaching. We're going into schools, and we're also looking to strengthen our links with Rochdale Rugby Union as well, where I'm doing S&C at the moment. And just get a lot more community engagement. I've got some really good links with the Rugby Football League, and also got a partnership with Swinton Lions, where we run a really successful tournament in only our first month, having over 75 children all attend, and some of those children are offered the opportunity to participate on the England Talent, or the Swinton Lions Talent Pathway as well, which then has the opportunity to link with England Community Lions. So a lot going on. You know, as a one-man band, it's quite hard to sort of manage everything on my own. So
I can imagine. Sounds very exciting, though. Very exciting.
It's fantastic. Really good. The amount of, the support we've got from the RFL and from Swinton's great, because everybody that comes on board gets a free season ticket, as long as we're under 18 to Swinton Lions as well. So we've got really good links there. Looking for people to come on board and help out with some tournaments. We've got a partnership with Rochdale School Games at the moment, where we're going to be the only people running rugby tournaments for sevens and nines competitions for this academic year as well, to hopefully grow the rugby league game, and obviously rugby union in and around Manchester as well.
Wow, sounds fantastic. Very busy time ahead.
Just a bit.
So whereabouts are you based, Chris?
So we're based up in over in Rochdale at the moment. We're currently in schools within mainly Rochdale. We've also, that's sort of like the main area we are really, and then we are going to be working alongside Leeds Rhinos and some of the Oldham schools as well, some of the Oldham rugby clubs as well, and supporting some of their tournaments going forward for the academic year as well. So you could argue that we're going to be supporting both Oldham and Rochdale schools, so that we can forge a link, and then players that are playing union that want to play in the winter months can play league, and sort of vice versa really. So mainly Oldham and Rochdale.
Oh, that's great. We also we have Action Together. Obviously, we're across Oldham, Rochdale, and Tameside. So I just obviously support the Rochdale team, but we have a volunteering team in Oldham as well. So they can definitely link in, obviously, where you're needing volunteers in Oldham. So that's good to know.
The more we can get out there, the better, really. So
absolutely,
just getting more people playing rugby. That's the key thing. Getting more people in, supporting clubs.
Popular sport, isn't it? So
it is.
And compared to football, I probably prefer to give rugby a try, if I'm honest.
Oh, definitely. It's
that more interaction.
Well, this is it. It teaches life skills as well. I mean, I've been involved with football for 20 odd years, and rugby's got so many more practical life skills, like your discipline, your communication, spatial awareness. You've got to be aware of what's going on, because you're going for your tackle, and in league you've got to retreat, otherwise you can see the penalty. So it's all about discipline and work. You've got to have some self-awareness of what's going on. So the life skills are transferable, which is perfect.
Oh, excellent. So could you tell me a bit about the volunteering opportunities you currently have or will have on offer going forward, the sort of roles
Yeah,
that volunteers can do?
100%. Yeah, so we're looking at the moment to recruit enthusiastic, enthusiastic, aspiring coaches more than anything else.
Right.
It doesn't particularly matter. I mean, preferentially, they'll have some form of awareness of the game of rugby or rugby league.
Yeah.
But we are also working with that. We're also offering athletic development opportunities as well. So improving speed, elements of fitness and performance, because I'm also strength and conditioning coach as well.
Right.
So we are recruiting for people that want to get on the coaching ladder, because it is really hard to get on the coaching ladder. Having done it 20 plus years, you know, the network's key with it within sports coaching. And the opportunities we're looking for at the moment is to support on school holiday camps here in Rochdale, supporting with in-school delivery, which will be a combination of during school hours and after school clubs as well, dependent on the requirements of the schools, and also with the tournament deliveries as well. So this will be things like refereeing, general management of competitions, liaising with schools, and just helping. For me, it's about helping the individual to grow as well as a coach, build that confidence, and create the opportunities that aren't necessarily there all the time. There is a rule where, you know, to deliver in schools, you do have to have either an RFL or an RFU level 2 coaching qualification, which could be a stumbling block for some people. But if they're coming in with myself or any other coaches that have got that, you know, they've got the opportunity to come in and learn off either myself or any other coaching staff that will come in as well, to, you know, to grow and become the best version of themselves in a coaching capacity.
Oh, right, that's great. So if they were coming in with yourself or someone else who has that qualification, they wouldn't have to have that necessarily.
No, not necessarily.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. I mean, one thing we would look to be doing is get them on that pathway. So we'd be looking to potentially secure funding if the funding opportunities are there. That'd be through the Rugby Football League, the Rugby Football Union, to maybe try and subsidise the costs. You know, and hopefully we can secure some funding to invest back in coaches, because you know, there's no bigger cost than your time, in my opinion. So
Absolutely,
you know, you've got to, you know, if someone's coming on board with us at Manchester Rugby Coaching, it's very, very important that they don't get used and abused, which unfortunately we see quite a lot. So we want to make sure that the time is valued. The right person that's coming on board wants to be there for the right reasons. They've got a clear vision as to, you know, what their pathway is going to be as a coach. Whether that's to come in and, you know, see whether coaching's for them or not, or whether it's, you know, a player at the end of the amateur days, or it's a teacher wanting to get involved with rugby league. To try and throw a few pointers out there and give them the exposure that they may not have normally.
Oh, excellent. That's a great opportunity there as well. Obviously, to get that skill, to get that qualification if the opportunity arises, which is excellent.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So how can volunteers currently express an interest or apply for these roles if they want to?
Yeah, definitely. So they can either contact myself via email, which is mcrrugbycoaching@hotmail.com. They can find us on Facebook through Manchester Rugby Coaching, on Instagram again, Manchester Rugby Coaching. Just go on there, have a look at the sort of work that we're doing. Send us a message on there, and just sending a bit of a brief introduction as to who they are, what, you know, why they'd be a good fit to, or what they can offer, what it is that they're looking to gain out of the experience, and and then from there we'll arrange a coffee probably, or go have a Zoom call first, meet up, have a coffee, and then it'll be a case of they'd come in, do a bit of an interview, like a hands-on interview in inverted commas, so to speak, where we can sort of see what level of coaching they're at. They can get a flavour to what we're all about, gain some feedback, and go from there really.
Oh,
So
excellent. That's great. Really, really good. You kind of answered my next question there as well, so I can just skip that one. So in terms of the volunteers' availability, so they do come on board. Obviously, I'm guessing it varies, obviously, term to term, sort of season to season. Is there a general time when volunteers are required, or is it just as and when?
Yeah. I mean, at the moment, we're looking mainly afternoons at the moment. So anything from about 12 o'clock onwards. I mean, that can change. I mean, we're, coming back into the new academic year now. Within the schoolwork we're doing, that's more than likely going to change in the next sort of couple of weeks. But with the tournaments, I mean, that'll be running from about 1:30 up to about 5 o'clock, anything between 1:30 and 5 o'clock. There are a few projects in the pipeline as well, so some evening work could potentially be there as well, depending on the qualifications of the volunteers. There could be opportunities to set up like a mini development centre as well, potentially, which they can lead. They can either lead on unsupervised if it's something that they want to do. And then for the school holiday camps, it will be mainly mornings. So it'll be mainly mornings between about 9:30 and 12 o'clock. With the potential of 9:30 till about 3 o'clock as well. Again, based in Rochdale. So, the world's an oyster really with that. There's a bit of flexibility with it, to be honest.
A lot of potential, isn't there, to do 100%. Quite a lot of different things. So that's good.
Yeah, definitely.
Are there any sort of specific skills, training, or qualifications? I know you touched on the coaching sort of qualification. Was there anything in particular that they would need?
Well, I mean, the big thing is self-motivation for me. And the self-motivation, reliability, and accountability as well. There must be, my ex-military, so disciplines are self-discipline's a really, really key factor. And they've got to be able to possess the qualities of a good role model, really. So the presentable, really good communicator, and not afraid to throw themselves into the deep end, really. If it's somebody that's lacking a little bit of confidence in terms of delivery, that's fine. We can provide a mentoring element of that to sort of guide and support them through that. But most importantly, some form of knowledge within rugby, whether that's league or union, and be able to demonstrate good level. I'm not expecting them to be fit as a fiddle, but be in relatively good health. Not turning up with a cigarette hanging out of the mouth or smelling the cigarettes and things like that. Sounds very fun, very strict, but we do have it, and they've got to be presentable and have pride in everything they do. Pride in appearance, pride in, and they've got to have something about them as well, and they've got to have a reason for being there. They've got to know the why. So.
Excellent. I know that. I like that. They've got to know the why. That's good.
Yes. No point coming in and doing it thinking, it's just it's an opportunity.
It's just something to do. You need to be into it.
Well, you see it all the time. On Facebook groups, on the local villages.
Right.
I'm open to doing any opportunity. Yeah, but why do you want to do it? What do you want to get out of that? I don't really know. Because there's no point in coming and doing a coaching job if you're just doing it for the sake of being there. Because working with children or some of the adults, people will identify that straight away, and before you know it, unfortunately, they'll play on that, and they'll be thinking, well, I don't want to be here, so I'm gonna take the mickey a little bit, and I'm gonna play up a little bit, and then unfortunately that'll have a negative on them. And from after seeing things in the past, you do get reactions. Unfortunately, people start shouting and telling people off in the wrong ways, and it can have a bit of a backlash on the coach, unfortunately, as well as obviously
absolutely I can imagine
damaging their reputation, not just the company's reputation, but obviously their reputation as well, which is key. So they've got to be able to be there for the right reasons, really, and not just because it's just a job, just because it's a job opening and they're desperate.
Absolutely. No, 100%. So do you offer training, and would you cover expenses if say a volunteer needed to get like a bus to wherever you were? Would you cover sort of stuff like that?
Yeah, things like that are negotiable, to be fair. I think when when we sit down and have the, I don't like the word interview, but when we have the informal chat,
Informal chat's better. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I'm very, very relaxed person, quite a relaxed person. I
Yeah.
like people to be comfortable more than anything else, and
Yeah.
not treading on eggshells, because people have got to be able to be themselves and they've got to be able to express themselves. But things like expenses and training opportunities, 100% we can, not guaranteed, but if they show the right attitude and commitment, and they're willing to progress, then whether it's through myself or through governing bodies or the network I've got, we can certainly explore those opportunities for sure.
Oh, that's great. I'm guessing with, obviously, if there's coming to schools and supporting with sessions there, DBS checks will be required.
Yeah, DBS 100%. So
Yeah.
the general rule of thumb, from what I understand of it, is, I mean, they'll be in with me anyway. So they'll be in with me anyway. So they'll be covered under me. They won't be able to be left on their own.
Right.
If they do have a DBS, fantastic. If not, I can help guide them towards getting that through probably the RFU, the Rugby Football Union,
Okay.
because it'll be a voluntary role. I'll cover the costs with that. If they're coming DBS, subject to giving a certain period of time, like 6 months back minimum, to cover the costs of the DBS. And and to be fair, any other sort of training, I'd guide them towards like the free training platforms, and the other like your level 1s, level 2s that they can get on with at minimal cost to them. And like I say, if we need to explore funding opportunities, we'll do that. No problem at all.
Oh, that's excellent. You've kind of touched on the next question as well, but I'm going to ask it anyway, just in case you want to go into it further. So how do you kind of support volunteers in their role?
Yeah, so a lot of it is providing an access point into hands-on coaching. Access to developing, to be able to develop your network, which is a key thing within the sports industry. Mentoring as well, in terms of helping support their journey, making them to understand it's not all about thrashing loads of money into becoming an A level, a level 3 or level 4 coach. It's not a necessary thing to do. So I'd be giving them clarity on exactly what is needed, and helping them to grow the network, grow the confidence, and provide them with learning opportunities as well, really. And to be able to implement their own ideas as well. We are a relatively new company, so we're an open book, really. And we're willing to grow with them, as opposed to just having them come along and just be a volunteer, because we want to make sure that they're counted, and if we can grow together, fantastic. I think that's the key thing. And then from that, hopefully we can look at potential paid opportunities going forward as well for the right candidates.
Wow, that's exciting, isn't it? You find now, obviously, volunteering is excellent, but if they've got something to work towards, let's make it like a career for themselves, and they're getting paid as well. It's an extra bonus, isn't it, really?
Definitely. I mean, after a short period of time, that they'll be provided with coaching kit as well, so that they feel part of a company. So it won't just be a case of they turn up in their own gear. They would get provided with kit as well, so that they people can look at them and think, we're part of Manchester Rugby Coaching. And we're part of the small team, which will then grow. So
that's great, thank you. I suppose the next question is kind of been covered as well. So in terms of showing appreciation to your volunteers, I mean, there's many benefits to what you're offering when someone comes on board. So I suppose that in itself, it is great. But is there anything in particular you do to show your appreciation for volunteers?
I think social proof. I mean, for me, social proof's a big thing. Showing people what we're doing, so they would get showcased. If they came on board and they showed a certain period of commitment. On our socials, we'd put out a little post. Get to know the coaching staff. Welcome to such a person on to the team who has demonstrated X, Y, and Z, and just give them a bit of a. We haven't got a huge following, but just make people aware that they are part of the team, and they are offering expertise, and you know, they do know what they're talking about. So, you know, hopefully, you know, through that, people will look and think, oh, you know, I know Jamie's been working with Chris for 6 months. We know about what Manchester Rugby Coaching are about. Must be a half decent coach. So, you know, you know, hopefully that's the perception anyway. So, you know, and if other opportunities come about, you know, they can use that, and of course they can, you know, tap into my network as, you know, as and when they need to as well. Swinton Lions have got things going on as well, so you know, I can speak to Damien up there and get them involved with the Lions Talent Pathway if they want willing to travel over to Wythenshawe in that area. And yeah, you know, opportunities are there. It's just a case of, you know, what do they want to get out of the opportunity, and can we make it happen, really?
Absolutely, that sounds great. Can I come? Can I be part of it? Oh, I suppose finally then, so how can people get in touch with you if they want to sort of access your service other than volunteering? Is it kind of all like, I know you're going to schools and things, but is it like referrals? Is it if someone's out there interested, they want to actually come and learn from your service and not volunteer kind of thing? They want to be involved.
So they want to get involved, whether it's a school, club, we can go on the website, which is manchesterrugbycoaching.co.uk. Get in touch with us via social media platforms. Again, Manchester Rugby Coaching on Instagram and Facebook. And they can get in touch with me on 07847 598 572. That's 07847 598 572. Yeah, more than happy for people to get in touch that way as well.
That's great. That's great. Well, that's the end of my questions. Well, that was really, really interesting. So much going on. It sounds like a fantastic opportunity. So yeah, if anyone is out there and you're interested, please do contact Chris and any of the methods that is stated. Also, we have on our website, Chris, we have a volunteer platform where people can go on, view roles and apply. So if you want to send details of the roles over to myself, I can have them put on the website as well. So for volunteer, obviously they register with us and then they can look and apply for roles on our website too. So yeah, that's another way. Yeah, excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much for your time today, and hopefully volunteers will be signing up in no time. It's fantastic. Thank you.
No worries. Thanks so much for the opportunity. Much appreciated.
No problem.